Welcome to 5 Good Minutes.
You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Daniel
With Brady Randall.
Today we come to the end of Daniel 2, and there's so much going on here. Not enough to cover, certainly in 5 good minutes. But what we've tried to highlight in our time together is how God has power over all. And knowing that should give us tremendous peace and confidence. And I wonder what would be different in your life if that reality were true. That you had nothing to fear because the God who has power over all the kingdoms, over all the earthly kingdoms, over all kings and times and seasons, was for you. I want you to know today that that can be true of you if you put your hope in His Son, Jesus Christ. Here's how this chapter ends in the last half of verses 45 and then through 49. The great God has shown the king what will take place in the future. The dream is true and its interpretation is trustworthy. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell prostrate before Daniel and paid him honor, in order that an offering and incense be presented to him. The king said to Daniel, "Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery." Then the king placed Daniel in a high position and lavished many gifts on him. He made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and placed him in charge of all its wise men. Moreover, at Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego administrators over the province of Babylon, while Daniel himself remained at the royal court. What I want to highlight today is that in God's power, one day, every knee will bow to Jesus Christ, either now willingly or certainly in eternity. And this scene to end chapter 2 is crazy if you think about it. The king is bowing down. That's a crazy sight. This would be like something like Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden or Kim Jong-un bowing down to the God of Jesus Christ and saying, "Surely He is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords." And I think this is a great picture of what it will be like for every one of us. Here's the thing. You can either live for your story and your kingdom, or you can live for God's story and His. And you and I can bow now by saying, "God, not my way, but your way. I submit to you. You are the King. You are God and I am not." Is to have the perspective that we are here today and this life and this world powers, they're only temporary. But submitting to Jesus' kingdom and His power and His glory and His story is what will last for eternity. And I know there's some of us, some of you today, and maybe you need to be reminded of that. Because knowing it with our mind is different than living it out. And I know some others of us might be listening today and we push back a little. And we don't necessarily like the implications of having to submit to a God who is king, because that means if God is king, I am not. But remember, the world is crazy. And all of the powerful kingdoms of this world have fallen at some point in history. Think about that. And nothing but God and His word and His promises will last forever. So Jesus is inviting a response to all of us today. And I just simply ask you, what is your response to this powerful God, the God of Jesus Christ? Will you be able, even at least for a moment like King Nebuchadnezzar, to fall on your knees in humility and say, "You are a great and powerful King, Jesus. Your kingdom cannot and will not end. Jesus, I want to be a part of that kingdom that has no end." And you can acknowledge Him by putting your hope and your trust and your faith in Him today. And if you already know Jesus, He invites you to participate in building His kingdom by sharing the King with others, so that His kingdom will come to this earth like it already is in heaven. So praise be to the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are His forever. And I go back to the chorus of that song that I started on day one. My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.